A running back? Really? A running back?
Get that stuff out of here. It's Southwest Bias.
Welcome into another edition of Southwest Bias, brought to you by our friends at the Husband and Wife Law Team. If you've had a serious injury, call the Husband and Wife Law Team first at 602-783-8841 or visit their website in the link in our description and tell them PHNX sent you. And we are not live from Studio K. We are live from Studio A, the GOAT, today. And over the weekend, I had to deal with something I didn't expect. I found a leak in my garage, a slow leak that apparently has been going on for months that kind of flooded part of my house. And I never imagined that that was the way that Cardinals free agency was going to be. A slow leak that wasn't going to actually come as a big burst to start. Something that we're going to have to wait to find out who the quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals is, because Malik Willis wound up going to the Miami Dolphins today on a 3-year deal, just north of $65 million there. I don't quite understand it. Now, I know Malik Willis has his flaws. I know Malik Willis is not a given thing, that he is not a guy that guarantees you success. But guess what? The fact that you destroyed your relationship with Kyler Murray last year ensured that you were going into this QB market looking for an answer, whether it be short-term or long-term. And the one guy on the board that actually had the potential to be that is no longer there. So now you're hoping you can pull off some kind of trade for a Derek Carr, a Bagent, and maybe find a guy that way, or that you're going to be able to pick somebody up from the reclamation heap and make them a starting quarterback like a Kirk Cousins or a Jimmy Garoppolo. Cardinals fans deserve better than this, because the one position we know that you can't F around, otherwise you're going to find out, is the quarterback position. And for far too long in this state, we have dealt with poor quarterback play for the Cardinals, leading to poor play on the field overall. You need to set up Mike LaFleur with a chance for success. And all right, maybe Matt told him that Malik Willis isn't ready to be a starting quarterback or may never be. So if that's the case, who's your backup plan? What is it? And you can't sell me on Tyler Allgier being your first signing as that being a good thing. The Arizona Cardinals have a gaping hole at quarterback, and if putting Jimmy G in there is your solution, you've already failed. If waiting for the 2027 draft to find your guy is your solution, you've already failed, and Monti Ossenfort will be out of a job. I'm sorry, but I don't care if Michael Bidwell guaranteed you another year, even if you tanked, Monty, because go look at what he did to Jonathan Gannon after guaranteeing him, or at least feeling like it was a fait accompli that he was going to come back. It doesn't work out. You might wind up as Fredo in terms of The Godfather with Michael Bidwell playing the Michael Corleone spot. So what are you going to do? What are you going to come up with at the quarterback position? And how are you going to turn this team to not be a complete and utter laughingstock in 2026 and turn it around where maybe you save your job? Because 20 wins over a 4-year period isn't enough to keep a GM in his job, and shouldn't be enough for anybody to keep their job. But maybe that's just my Southwest bias. We welcome in the man, the myth, the legend, our friend Bo Brack to the program as well. He's going to be here as we walk through everything that the Cardinals are doing. We've got Kevo behind the Mac, the Dreads behind the desk, helping us out as well. A little different format than usual because it's a little different of a day. Free agency frenzy has started. The Cardinals are expected to be in the Malik Willis sweepstakes. Apparently they kind of were, but really weren't. Got too pricey for him. What do you make of the situation?
Well, we're getting more details as far as how the Dolphins structured this 3-year for $67 million deal with $45 million guaranteed. He gets 20 plus at signing, so he gets a signing bonus that you can kind of just spread across the contract that isn't going to count against this year's cap. That was the big, issue with Miami, trying to create cap space in the short term. But they were able to turn that into just over $1.5 million as far as just salary this year. So Malik Willis very well could be just earning this year like around cap wise like $6, $7, $8 million. That's a drop in the bucket for the quarterback position. And then the next year, they're going to guarantee over $22 million for Malik Willis. You're looking at this, so as far as the first 2 years of this contract, it's where most of that guaranteed money is going to come. And you say, okay, 2 years, $45 million for Malik Willis. Is that worth it? I think every Cardinals fan that was pro Malik Willis would say so. And you're saying, what the hell gives, Monti Ossenfort? How is Miami able to pull that deal off and you weren't? How come you created all this cap space and you weren't able to get to a number that was going to persuade Malik Willis to choose the desert over South Beach? It's really a head scratcher here. It continues to show Cardinals becoming the bridesmaid in every single department of coaching searches to front office searches to draft picks to, now free agency and trades. The Arizona Cardinals fans are fed up. Now, whether or not they're fed up completely with it be like Malik Willis and missing out on that, I don't think it's as big as that. I think it's just kind of the straw that broke the camel's back that broke weeks ago, months ago, years ago.
Yeah, I do not understand why that was the threshold you weren't willing to go to. Big welcome to all the bias in the chat. Jacob, Desert Vulture, David, Aaron, all of you in here. AZ Moses, you got to love that all you stopped in here for the program. We had a chat up here talking about how it's the one with the trenches up here, Kevin, just there, Aaron. Cheaper rookie deal so we can spend money in the trenches. It's easy to see what's going on. So you're going to bank everything on Ty Simpson when it comes to quarterback in terms of a cheaper rookie deal there and try to play the trenches? I don't think that's a way to get yourself fired if you're Monti Ossenfort, and it's a way to put the Cardinals back, I think, in the mix for a quarterback in 2027. Somebody else in the chat brought up an interesting point. If you're tanking, if you're going to look at the draft capital, do you really think that Arch Manning's going to want to come here? I mean, we saw what they did, the Manning family, when Eli was supposed to go to San Diego and he forces his way to New York. I can't see a Manning really wanting to be in Arizona, given the history of what's gone on with this franchise and where it would likely put Arch in terms of growth and potential success.
Well, it's been since 2004 since somebody forced the hand, and it was his uncle and obviously his grandfather, Arch Manning, his namesake, Archie Manning, that forced the trade. They didn't want, both Eli and Peyton in the same conference, and they didn't want to go to the Chargers, who are, infamously cheap, right? And they've changed their ways a little bit, most recently with the Jim Harbaugh hiring and paying Justin Herbert. But the Cardinals, that continues to kind of linger around their organization, and with the season they're about to endure as well, on top of the previous couple seasons that they've endured, especially since 2022, signs are going to point to who can actually win there. Are you going to be given the best shot to have a successful career, even with the name Manning? And, I think a lot of people would be skeptical about that. And in taking on another just losing season willingly is another, strike against the Arizona Cardinals, despite what it could reward them with in the 27 draft season. It's tough because not only that, if you were to endure another 3-14 season again, right? That it's the worst that this franchise has ever seen, which is crazy to think about because they've had some bad seasons, some real stinkers out there. That netted them the 3rd overall pick. You can't control some of these things. You could lose out, you could win 2 games, and you could still be playing second fiddle in next year's draft. And we don't even know what this quarterback class is going to prove come this fall, and if there's going to be worthy guys, once again, Arch himself included, to kind of build your franchise around.
I don't understand what the risk taking Malik Willis at that price point would have really been, because the Cardinals would have front loaded most of that. Guaranteed would have been this year, unlike what Miami had to do. But the risk, what is it? If he sucks, you're right where people think they want to be. If he doesn't suck, you're actually winning games. He might be a guy for the future. I do not understand why you couldn't take that calculated risk. And who the hell cares how much money they're spending? It ain't your money outside of what you're spending to get tickets. So, and wouldn't you want to be a little bit more entertained than what you're going to be at?
I mean, you do have to think about the Mike LaFleur connection. Obviously, his older brother there in Green Bay. Maybe he didn't give his full blessing to Malik Willis, to his brother, and said, this is a guy that's going to be able to help year one. Like, you have to consider that. But when you look at the details of the deal with Malik Willis, he's going to make under $9 million. His cap hit is under $9 million in 2026. Under 9, and then it goes up to 22 million next season. And that's fully guaranteed as well. And then you could just kind of kick the can down the road as far as the signing bonus that he received, over $20 million on signing today. It's just like that's a drop in the bucket, especially if Malik Willis becomes a serviceable to plus starter in this league. It doesn't make sense. You can't find any kind of rationale that says, why couldn't you be in on that deal unless you just didn't believe in him?
Well, and to me, it's like, okay, if you didn't want to be in that because, it's a risk. Who isn't a risk in this? Like, where are you turning now? That's my biggest question. Where Jimmy Garoppolo is going to do nothing but piss off your fan base. A Jimmy Garoppolo Jacoby Brissett quarterback battle is the thing that could kill a franchise. That's not going to excite anybody. So if that's the path, you've already lost. Where else are you looking? Derek Carr? Okay, maybe you hope that you find magic like you did with a Warner or a Palmer, but that's a big question, especially coming off that surgery.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins, his expiration date was a while ago. Sure, was he serviceable in Atlanta last year? Yeah, but do I really want the entire Atlanta backfield, minus Bijan Robinson as my backfield this year? Not particularly. So a calculated risk is a lot better to me than whatever they're looking at that they think maybe would mitigate the financial risk. Monti Ossenfort does not have time to screw around with this. And I really don't think the Cardinals franchise as a whole has time to screw around with it, because we already saw people leaving in droves in terms of season ticket holders when it came to the end of last year. If you give zero hope, you're not going to bring those people back.
Right.
And how long can you afford to bleed fans? Like, the Suns lost an entire generation of fans being bad for a decade. Can the Cardinals really afford to go back to the way that it was? And in particular in the 90s, there were maybe 25,000 of us that went out to Sun Devil Stadium. There's an entire group of fans my age that grew up Cowboy and 49ers fans in the Valley because the Cardinals were so bad and they were embarrassed to be a fan of it. So they just decided, you know what, my dad was a Cowboys fan, I'm just going to be that. This is the way you wreck a fan base for a longer period of time by just losing on purpose, or worse, losing because of complete incompetence.
Right. And you gotta give people a reason to buy in, and there just hasn't been anything. There was a little bit of maybe traction after 23 going into 24, and then 24 into the 25 off season before a catastrophe struck and a 3-14 season happened, and you blew out the coach that you thought was going to be the guy that was going to lead you into consistent relevance. It just didn't happen. And now you're still dealing with the same, issues that plagued this organization before. And until 2028, you don't have anything new that's going to show people that you're different. And the way that they're operating this offseason, especially as we sit here, 3 hours into the tampering window,
we got a running back.
We got a guy who's going to compete to be a starting running back. We don't even know if he's RB1. Tyler Allgier comes over, 2-year, $12 million deal, and he just joins a packed room that, you secured James Conner in there for another season at 31, and who knows what the hell is going to happen with Trey Benson, a guy going into his third season as a third round running back. The water is way too damn murky for the start of this tampering period for fans to really say, hey, I want to jump back in.
All right. Yeah.
I mean, you got to, Monti Ossenfort's got to do what he was able to do in his 23 draft debut. He's going to have to really get creative with how he's going to address this quarterback position, and at the same time thread this needle and inspiring a fan base that is ran out of patience.
Oh, great. The most milquetoast GM in the history of the NFL has to get creative. What is this idea of creative? Using a blue pen instead of a black pen? Like, we're not looking at a guy that's known for his creativity in this stuff, which concerns me even more. Like that. signing Malik Willis seemed like the not all that creative, but the
Right.
easier thing to accomplish. Now he's going to have to.
This is your option. Take this option. It's like, no.
I'm good. I'm going to go try to find somebody older and with less talent potentially. I do not understand it. What I do understand is we're going to take a quick break, but we're coming back discussing where else can the Cardinals go? What are the other quarterback options? And what the hell are they going to do the rest of this day? Right after this on Southwest Bias. Got to tell you about my friends at the Husband and Wife Law Team. If you've had a serious injury, you've got to call the Husband and Wife Law Team first. You got to do your research when it comes to lawyers, especially when it comes to serious injury or wrongful death cases. And if you do that research, it's going to lead you to my friends Mark and Alexis Breyer and the whole team over at the Husband and Wife Law Team, because they are one of the 1% that's certified when it comes to serious injury and wrongful death cases in the Arizona bar. Plus, they are prepared to go to trial if your case requires it, and they want to make sure that you wind up with more money in your pocket than goes to their fees. They are about making sure that you get the best outcome possible, and you need that when it comes to a lawyer. So I highly recommend you check out Mark and Alexis Breyer at the Husband and Wife Law Team. If you've had a serious injury, call the Husband and Wife Law Team first at 602-783-8841 or visit their website in our show notes and tell them PHNX sent you. And our friends at Window Depot. I talk about this on the Sun Show. I tell Gil all the time. They don't just sell windows. I understand the name makes it sound like they just sell windows, but that is not the case. If you're looking to redo pretty much anything in your house, they've got what you need: cabinets, countertops, sinks, even flooring. They've got flooring now. Starts down in their Tucson location. It's already there. Then it's going to be at their 6 locations throughout the state. And that's not the best part. Contractors love them, but people like you and I love them as well, because you can go to thewindowdepot.com, order what you need, and pick it up in store, and you're going to be able to work with a designer. They will help you for free. No money. They'll help you for free design the space of your dreams. So you got to head over to Window Depot today, one of their 7 Arizona locations, and see for yourself why they're more than just a window store. And right now I feel like the SpongeBob meme where I'm looking out the window and all the other teams in the NFC West and throughout the NFL are having fun. And the Cardinals are sitting here with Allgier at running back and nothing else to show for the first few hours of the free agency period. I'm going to welcome Bo Brack back in. And Bo, when we look at this, the quarterback position, where do you think they go now? What do you think is actually what happens here?
What actually happened, I think probably the most realistic solution is competition for Jacoby with guys long in the tooth, late in their career, Cousins, Carr. And then
Garoppolo seems to be where everything's
Garoppolo
pointing.
is absolutely in that. I just don't want to face that reality. And then Tyson Bagent, maybe a long shot at Tyson Bagent. You flip a little draft capital from this year for Bagent to the Bears.
I gotta ask though. Everybody was really against Malik Willis because there's not a lot of tape. When it comes to Bagent,
it's the same thing.
There's not that much. You've got preseason tape.
I mean, he played back before they had Caleb Williams, Justin Fields last year in Chicago, and there's just, I know you got to. It's the GM and the coach trying to pawn him off to the highest bidder in Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles, but there is a lot, and people I trust. There's a lot of belief that Bagent is a future starter in this league, but are you getting him too early? Does he need some more maturation, more development? Would he be better served to be, the backup for Caleb this year, maybe, next year during this extension, and then play free agency like Malik Willis did in the next couple off seasons?
Yeah, I wonder if it's really that much more of a sure thing, or is it just simply he's cheaper, so you take the chance on a cheaper option, even though it costs you draft capital, which it sounds like day 2. I talked with somebody in Chicago that was suggesting maybe even a 2nd-round pick that you'd have to give up. If you do that, I think it's criminal.
No, I mean, at the highest, you're thinking like the first pick in the 3rd round, which is still steep, and I would caution, I'm not saying that's what they would need in return. It could probably be a 4th, and we're probably not even talking about this year's draft capital. Maybe like a fourth conditionally that could turn into a third, or as high as a third that could turn into a second next year. That's what we're looking at here, maybe but that's a long shot. Like I think you're most likely looking at the veteran quarterback market. Seems like Tua, all the insiders seem to be saying Falcons. He's left-handed. He's at that $1.3 million, minimum cost, just like Kyler. He could go and get in there and be the bridge to Penix coming back, and then they can compete, or they could just pivot beyond this year.
Yeah, Aaron G in the chat says, I'd rather have Derek Carr or Kirk Cousins. They're proven starting quarterbacks. Jacoby's a backup, and he'll be moving more than a backup. Jacoby can't be your starter. Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, you're hoping that you find something there that maybe you rekindle some of the magic that they've had in their past. I'm not banking on that. Desert Rebel 48 says we cleared up all that cap space and nothing's going to happen.
Right.
Let's pivot gears. And when you look at only the one move so far,
right?
What do you think is the next kind of move that you're looking at here? I mean, there's some rumors on the wide receiver front. I think if running back and wide receiver are the two first moves you make, this is an abject failure.
Right.
But that's where I'm sitting. Right.
Well, Garoppolo told us on the show on Friday he expects the Cardinals to be in on the offensive line and kind of do a meat and potatoes type free agency to kind of prime everything for sexier moves in 2027. That doesn't do anything for Monti Ossenfort's job security. Like, even if they fortify the front seven on the defensive side or the offensive trenches, as far as putting up points, sure, it keeps your quarterback upright, but we know there's more to it. Can you generate enough offense and also be well enough on defense to get off the field? Like, is it going to translate to wins ultimately for Monti Ossenfort? I don't think in the short term to save his job, but it could like set somebody else up for success, no doubt about it. And like, okay, are you sacrificing yourself in the 2026 offseason for somebody's well-being in the future? Then that's very kind of you. Then like that's the medicine you take, and it sucks for us that we have to watch bad football in 26.
Yeah, Rocker says fix the O-line, Cousins, Jacoby, Nussmeier.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't care what your offensive line is. That's sure you keep those guys upright. Yeah. I don't know that does enough for you.
Right. I mean, I would expect that they get one of these guards. We already saw a really good one, David Edwards, going off the board to New Orleans. Can you get in on an Elijah Vera Tucker, Samalo, who's a little bit older for Pittsburgh? Would he come over? And then you've got the tackles. If you get a right tackle, I mean, that makes what you're looking at, third overall pick, a little more fun, and you're not reaching for a guy like Maui Noah like 6 picks too early. Like, do you go get a Rasheed Walker? Do you go get a, Elmanor from the Giants? I mean, that's nice. That makes you feel a little bit better, but you still have this void at quarterback that it's going to be tough to fill. That's going to inspire a fan base to buy tickets.
Big welcome to all the bias in the chat. Appreciate you being here. Almost 300 of you in here. Hit that like button like it's a Rams fan that just insulted you. Let's get up to at least 75 here in the next few minutes. Appreciate each of you being
There's
here.
300 people.
Yeah, I aim low because then they can surprise me. That's
kind
the
of Cardinals fan in you. It's like
if
I just have really low expectations, they can't hurt me as much as they have.
And yet they do still.
Yeah.
I had low expectations and get me Malik Willis, and they still disappointed me. I can't wait for my Kirk Cousins, Jimmy Garoppolo, Jacoby Brissett QB battle come training camp as well. DLAZ in the chat, one of our supporter club members, says Kurt Warner was 33 when the Cardinals signed him. I understand. Carson Palmer was on the back half of his career. I get that. I just the chance of catching lightning in a bottle for the third time and having magic happen seems so slim to me, but maybe it could happen.
Yeah, the difference between these two guys, if you're looking at that market, I would assume you're talking Cousins, you're talking Derek Carr. Carr fits that age profile. Cousins is a little bit older than that. Cousins is coming off the Achilles. He looked better last year, a year removed from it. And then Derek Carr has a shoulder. So, those are one of those things where Sometimes you don't even know like if is there a timetable? Does it come back? Does it never come back? As far as arm strength goes, but like Derek Carr, if you want to roll the dice on that, like the Palmer, the Warner thing, it usually doesn't work out. But if that's what you want to do, Derek Carr, I think, is your best option there.
I feel like if you're going older, Carr's the only guy you can sell me on as,
Yeah.
hey, look, the only reason was the injury that he struggled. Now I know he had his ups and downs throughout his career in both Vegas and in New Orleans, but if you want to try to sell me on a reclamation project, that's probably the guy to sell me on. You can't really sell me on the Jimmy G's and all that of the world. If you're not going for a Bajent, somebody younger that you might be able to help grow into that quarterback, then yeah, give me Derek Carr. Maybe you do catch lightning in a bottle. It buys you some time, and you can put some wins on the board and find that quarterback of the future. But, I want to you take a step back. This is on Monti on multiple ways for not drafting that guy. I mean, did they really think Clayton Tune was that guy? And then you saw him flame out, and you had no other guy, no line of succession that if this fate came with Kyler Murray, that you could have somebody you were comfortable with. Like that to me is the bigger failure than the Malik Willis thing, is that you didn't have a plan in place over the last handful of years to at least try to put yourself in a better position.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the 24 and the 25 draft, and 24, obviously one of the deeper quarterback classes. Like, did they not go after a quarterback in the first 3 rounds of the draft to not ruffle the feathers with Kyler Murray being in place? Obviously, there was a huge sense of conviction from Jonathan Gannon for Kyler. We know that there was some skepticism in Kyler on how things ended in 24 from people above Gannon. How things ended. They go 2-5 down the stretch. Kyler has some crucial turnovers during that time. If you did have some sort of reservations about him, it doesn't matter. Like, you obviously knew that this could be a reality. What we're facing on Wednesday, when they're going to outright release him and eat a lot of this contract just based on how it was set up. Why weren't you one of those teams that went and got a Jackson Dart, a Tyler Shuck, some sort of fallback contingency plan? Where now you're just like, we've got Jacoby Brissett. He was our backup. We want him to be the backup. Now you're sitting here year 2 of Brissett, and you're staring down him being potentially your starter.
Yeah, and if you tell me Slovis is a guy that he's young and you can shove that where the sun don't shine. That would be a ridiculous argument there as well. A lot of people in the chat saying that Monti should have been gone when Jonathan Gannon went. Yeah, I think that we may be talking a lot about that over the next year, depending on how this turns out. Do you think by the end of the day we have a new starting quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals, or do you think this stretches out? Because I'm starting to wonder if this just stretches out a while.
If it's Garoppolo, I mean, and you kind of go into it and you're like, is he the starter? Like, is there a definitive starter that's acquired today? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't either. And
because Cousins, we've heard, is going to let the market come to him.
Yeah.
And we'll see. I mean, you could probably, I think Cousins is one of those guys you could get at that $1.3 million deal.
Well, and does Kyler slow this all down now? Because he can't sign till Wednesday in all likelihood. Yeah. So then does that slow everything down? Because now you're playing in this group of quarterbacks where whoever doesn't get Kyler, they're going to want in on that action. So all of a sudden, are you now going to have to wait in this line over the next handful of days? And what other subsequent moves can you make? You're seeing other teams in the NFC West get better. We saw the Rams make a trade. We saw Mike Evans go to the 49ers. Like, are you really going to just be okay with, hey, we had a running back and we'll make some other marginal moves. We brought our punter and our kicker back. We're good. Like, where's the juice? Where's the sizzle? What am I getting in day one? And I'm starting to worry it might be absolutely nothing.
Right. I mean, you're just going to have to accept trench additions, right? And you hope those come, because the top guy, a lot of them remain on the board as far as tackle and guard. But if that's where you freed up all this cap space, better go get 1 or 2 so this fan base could say, okay, that's the plan. right? You fortify the trenches, and like all those people are saying, no, no on Malik, and wait on the quarterback. At least some of your fan base can see the direction where others are still going to be disappointed. But you got to be able to hit on some of these guys. And how do you kind of persuade them to come? Where it's just like, if they said they kind of switched up how they knew negotiations, and you can talk on like an hour Zoom thing, 30-minute Zoom thing. It's like, what if somebody asks, what's your option at quarterback? And you say, oh, we're going to bring Jimmy Garoppolo.
Or,
like,
or you'll find out what we do.
Right. It's like, oh, I thought the Cardinals had great Wi-Fi connection. We dropped. And he's like, no, he hung up.
Yeah.
That free agent hung up because he didn't like the answer.
Yeah. This is not where I expected to be sitting here, almost 3 hours into, or a little over 3 hours into this free agency class for the Cardinals and where they're trying to go. I think we have a couple super chats that we should take a look at here. $10 super chat from Sand Viper says, are we ready for a big trade for Anthony Richardson? You can decide Willis isn't the guy, but you have to ensure your QB news drops before the Willis news, just like he didn't want to sign. I agree. The fact that Willis went off the board and there was not like a subsequent,
like a corresponding move,
or even a report of, this is the guy that the Cardinals really want to go after. It's almost radio silence. And we saw how that went with the coaching search. It was not they wound up circling back to the guy that I think can help them, but it was a painful process overall. AZ Moises says, Titans signed Trubisky as QB2. Have a sinking feeling we will trade for Will Levis for a day 3 pick. Hope everyone likes mayo in their coffee. Fah!
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice work, everybody.
Yeah.
Probably not a great take that people are going to love. I wouldn't mind Will Levis at this point.
At this point, give me somebody that has a little potential still and take a flyer. Like that's where you're at. And if it's cheap,
I know he was a very memeable guy. Like literally like 4 straight weeks, there was a different Will Levis meme. It's like, honey, wake up. There's a new Will Levis meme out. But he's a guy, good size, good athleticism, strong arm. But obviously between the years, that's the thing. Like, can he mature here? Can he develop here? Like Jacoby Brissett, little Will Levis. I know that you probably cringe at that idea, but as far as the available options, it's not the worst.
Hey, I mean, maybe we can get a Duke's Mayo sponsorship and have a little fun with it. Iron Will, $5 super chat. We had near $60 million in cap, and then I remember Mike's quote, I'm open and embracing playing the best quarterback possible for the Arizona Cardinals. Can you imagine? Just walk down this path with me. That'll be depressing.
Yeah.
You run Drew Petzing out of town. You run Jonathan Gannon out of town, and then the Cardinals are still a run-first team in 2026.
You got an all-world tight end. You got another 1,000-yard receiver in Michael Wilson. You got to get Marv on track. Like, what quarterback's going to come in and be able to tap into that potential that people want to see from Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Call Shadur Sander?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good point. Levis missed the season with an injured throwing shoulder. So do you want Derek Carr or Levis with the bad shoulder?
One's in his 20s and the other's in his 30s. I don't know. I mean, I from what the reports are on Will Levis, his shoulder's looking a lot better.
Yeah. A lot of people circling the Cousins thing, Rocker, again. Cousins, Jacoby, Simpson, or Nussmeier. Worry about a quarterback next year. I don't know that I can go through that pain. And I feel for you and Johnny because I'm not going to have to do all the post-game shows. And as a guy that hosted the Suns post-game show for the team during some of the dark days, that is no fun. That is bad. Right. That is miserable. And as much as I know that people will keep showing up and it will be it'll be tough, they'll tough it out. It ain't going to be fun.
It would be a monster draft class to get people kind of excited, but through all this losing, to set up another time in the future where you can be hopeful again, that's just too much delayed gratification for Cardinals fans. They need something that says week in and week out, like, hey, we might have a shot here, instead of this like puncher's chance any given Sunday.
Dante. I doubt Brissett can win more than 2 games with the current O-line. I mean, I can't imagine that. I mean, if the plan is to not add to the offensive line either, we've really hit new lows. I imagine they fortify that both in free agency and in the draft. The question is, why are you fortifying it? Who is it for? And how does the running game help that quarterback as well? A lot of questions that are left to be answered as those start to fall in place. We will answer them right here on PHNX. Do me a big favor, all the bias in the chat, hit that like button on your way out. If you have not subscribed to the channel, do that already. If you have, become a member of the Supporters Club. Hit that join button today. For $5, you're going to unlock great emojis, custom emojis that only you can use, exclusive content, and oh so much more. So glad to have you all with us. Wish it was more exciting news. A big thank you to Bo Brack, who's been my co-host for like 2.5 hours today, it feels like. You can follow him at Bo Brack. You can catch him on PHNX Cardinals today at 4:30 with Johnny. If any other news breaks, Bo and I will probably be back to talk about it then as well. You can follow Kevo Behind the Mac at Kevo Post. You can follow the show at PHNX_sports.
Do we have to get out of here right now?
No, we don't have to. You want to keep rolling?
Let's get, if we can get the likes to 100.
All right, we'll stay till the likes are at 100.
Yeah, we'll stay till the like. We'll take this thing up to 12:30.
Look at that. Look at Bo just grabbing the wheel and going, nah.
I love to see all these Cardinals fans in here. And it kind of shuts up the Spurs Broncos fans bandwagon in the chat.
Yeah, that Spurs guy is actually a guy that was a Clippers fan last night and changed in there. So, yeah, somebody fell on that. Thank you, Scott, for always saying that for some god-awful reason. Okay. Well, we got
please.
Tua. Is that really – that can't be a route you go down, right? I can't see that.
You wouldn't like to, because just his inability to stay on the field, right? I mean, this has just been a guy that they had injuries and stuff that he suffered. The inaccuracies after that was supposed to be his super strength went away, and he threw a bunch of picks. I just don't think that Tua is somebody doesn't value the ball as much. It's a big thing for Monti Ossenfort. I mean, I know they would get him at a low price, but let Atlanta go be in the Tua business. That seems like it's just a good landing spot for him.
Are there any outside of Bayesian? Are there any other young QB2s that you think that they could?
People aren't going to like this. Maybe Broncos Spurs guy, like maybe Jared Stidham.
Yeah.
It's not going to inspire much hope with Cardinals fans, but like they just re-signed Sam Ehlinger to a really cheap deal to remain with the organization. Maybe Peyton would want to try to flip Stidham for a draft pick.
Yeah, I mean, really, again, I keep repeating this, it feels like, but you're taking a flyer wherever you go. So if you see a little something in Stidham, it's not going to cost you a huge amount of draft capital.
Here's the great thing about Stidham. He's not going to play in a snowstorm like he did in the AFC Championship loss.
Well, I mean, at least not here. Maybe
right.
On the road, maybe. But, yeah, some success in the State Farm Stadium potentially there. I imagine Monty's – I mean, I shouldn't imagine anything. I don't know. But I would think that they're looking –
That's a good one. Austin Hoy saying Tanner McKee from the Eagles. It's people that like Tanner McKee, former Stanford quarterback. Could Howie – could you flip him a pick for a guy like Tanner McKee? There's a lot of people that believe in Tanner McKee. I know the Jets have been rumored to maybe look at a guy like Tanner McKee. There are options there, but there's not one that I think there's going to be like the consensus of people like this was a good move.
There's no chance that they're gonna target Ty Simpson and try to force him into a QB competition this year, right? He's too raw, right?
That seems just very Josh Rosen-y to me.
Yeah, and just setting up a poor kid for a lack of success to start.
Ruminali saying free agent Sam Howell. I just think the league has gone sour on Sam Howell. He threw 20 picks in a season. That was okay, back before kind of ball security became a big thing. I don't think Sam Howell would be an option for the Cardinals as starting quarterback. Like if there was some, reality where they did move Jacoby for a pick, and they brought in Hal as a backup. It's possible. Joe Milton, I think the Cowboys like Joe Milton. Brock Johnson asking about Milton. I mean, you'd have to probably, they gave up a pick for Milton to the Patriots. You probably have to give up a more of an expensive pick for Milton from the Cowboys. And then Cooper Rush, former Cowboys guy. Cooper Rush, last time I checked, I think he was in Baltimore.
Are we really down this bad that we're
we're
talking
we're down tremendous,
Cooper
my
Rush, Joe Milton?
Yeah, we're down. We're down an unprecedented amount.
Yeah,
even for this franchise.
And that's the problem too. There's really zero answer that you look at and you go, this can solve the problem.
Right.
Now you kind of were hoping that Malik Willis, you could catch lightning in a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can't even hope you're catching lightning in a bottle with anything really at this point. Travis asking, could the Cardinals trade for a starting quarterback like Joe Burrow or Jalen Hurts? I mean, if we're playing Madden, maybe, but that's not. I mean, unless something really weird goes on in Cincinnati where Joe Burrow,
things go on that are weird all the time, right?
I mean, I guess, but that would not be part of some master plan that's going on here. That would be dumb luck.
Well,
something like
as you're seeing with these quarterback cast-offs, it'd be the same with a guy like Burrow and Hurts, where the trading team would have to take on a pretty large sum as where their contracts stand in dead money with a deal, any type of deal, trade, cut, whatever it may be. So as they're in that territory, I think that those guys stay put. And then once that lessens, then you might see like hands get forced. Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, but I think we're a while from that.
Would Joe Burrow really try to force his way into this situation?
Right. Probably
I highly doubt it. Brandon saying, will Johnny be missing a patch of his hair when he jumps on the live stream later? Maybe.
I don't think he would want to mix up any like him standing in solidarity with Monti Ossenfort.
He doesn't want to have to go bald.
Right.
That is a luscious hair. Hair. Steve Kimes School of Drinking with the 199 super chat says, we're down horrendous.
Horrendous, tremendous, an immense amount. We're down there.
It's not good. Yeah. I'm not. No, DL, we're not reading that one. That's fun, but no. The riskiest we'll get is, like I said, on the emergency pod, Monti Ossenfort is the missionary position of GMs. He's just bland.
I was never going to be able to flush that one from my memory. And now you doubled, tripled down. And
no, Joe Flacco. I really can't deal with the idea of a guy that was in high school at the same time as I was playing quarterback. It's just that it's not palatable. Not Joe.
I wouldn't be out on Rodgers.
Not Aaron Rodgers. You wouldn't? Even with the drama that brings?
No, because I think he could still operate an offense. Obviously, if you're investing in the trenches in the offensive side of the football, you've got obviously stable running backs. You've got the playmakers. I wouldn't hate it.
Do you really want to sit at an Aaron Rodgers press conference?
I think it would,
have to ask.
I know that it would be interesting to the consumer, to the audience.
It would be something, and that. I don't know. Can he really run what Mike LaFleur is going to want to run here?
That's the question. Right? That's the question.
And are you setting up?
I mean, Matt LaFleur ran it with Aaron, but he was a much more mobile.
He was younger.
Yeah,
he hadn't had the Jets experience there, and everything that came along with it. No, the 49ers aren't going to trade you Mac Jones, Lou, unless you vastly overpay and hand them way too much draft.
You might have to revisit that, though. You might have to revisit that.
Do you think they?
I think that's a tremendous long shot.
Yeah.
That the Niners would even want to entertain that. Like you'd have to blow them away, and I think that would have to be like the second pick in the second round. And that's a really expensive price tag for Mac Jones.
Droll wants to know, where's the juice?
Juice is in Miami. The juice is in Miami now, so you gotta somehow go find some citrus and find a way to squeeze some juice out of one of these older veteran quarterbacks.
It's gonna be like getting blood from a stone. I do not know how they are gonna pull it off. We hit the 100 like.
We did.
Do we call it now?
We did. I think we said we'll bring up to 12:30. We appreciate everybody hitting the likes, man. I mean, it does more for us. PHNX Sports gets us in front of more Cardinals, Suns, D-backs, ASU Wildcat fans out there that don't know we exist. So you hitting that like button does wonders for us. We appreciate it. Anybody that consumes us and does the simple gesture of just clicking that like.
Yeah, like and subscribe. Those are the two things that can help us the most. And if you're listening on audio and are so inclined, leave a 5-star review as well. All right, now we'll wrap it up. He's Bo Brock. Follow him at Bo Brock. You can follow Kevo Behind the Mac at Kevo Post. You can follow the show at PHNX_sports. You can follow me at Espo. And remember, yeah, I don't know when the hell the Cardinals are getting a quarterback. Ahoy, hoy!
We all silly like the mayor.